And three, two, one, action. I was just going to ask my main man, Kenny Simmons, if he could hear me, but he got up. I'm going to go into Telegram right now to let everyone know that I am live. Thank you, Jordan Amari, master myself, for getting me in. And we'll be going live soon. Stay tuned. All right. You still there? Thank you for your patience and you're welcome. I'm going to share my video here real quick just to show you where I'm at, what I have going on. It is 6:13 here in Wisconsin, and there we are. I'm actually about to go outside. What up, C1 Ken? Jumping on here. Man, I wish I was living in California right now because it's how many degrees warmer, and it's probably still light out there, if I'm not mistaken. Here I go, here I go, here I go again. Walking outside, fresh, crisp air. I'm gonna turn my camera off here real quick. It is currently 34 degrees here in Wisconsin, and it'll be cloudy later tonight. A low of 25. Sunrise at 7:11 a.m. with a high of 34. And I say that kind of condescendingly, sarcastically, because I used to live in Florida a few years ago, and to think it's like, I was still miserable, but I wasn't as miserable as I was in Wisconsin. However, I was not in intonation. I was not on the ADD process. Kenny, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Uh, and it's just like you kind of prepare yourself for the season change. I remember my uncle would always joke, there we are. I'm grabbing some gloves right now. How you pretty much need, and you know what? It's like not even the right gloves that I was looking for. But hey, no glove, no love. My uncle would joke on how it's like you pretty much need like a different outfit for every 10 degrees difference in Wisconsin. And oh man, I'm humbled and blessed. You know why? Because I'm still here. And I look at this as an opportunity for one to get on a good relationship with my father. I don't want to share too much here, but he's currently beating cancer, and his health, he's not as active as he could be, and he needs to get some work done this Friday, and he wants me to take him, and he also wants to visit with family after that, and it's like two things I'm not looking forward to. For one, I don't know about you, but it's like family get-togethers. A lot. Most of it was like when my grandparents would have um, Christmas get-togethers, and as a kid, I really didn't understand why my older cousin would suddenly have a call and would have to leave. He was a locksmith, and then wouldn't it be funny? He had a call and had to leave. And you know what's funny? Come to think of it, I should laugh, but it's like looking back now, it's like every family's dysfunctional. He was probably sitting at the bar, or he probably like went somewhere just to hide out because it was a freaking zoo during Christmas time. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, whatever. Uh, I rarely saw the family on both my mom and dad's side, so it's like we really wouldn't get sick of each other, But I think my older cousin like knew what was going on, like sibling rivalry and fighting. And he would all of a sudden just, oh, I got a call and then up and leave. And I'm just thinking like, that's a great idea. Well, you know what? I actually missed Thanksgiving and Christmas last year, and it wasn't easy because my mom, for the longest time, wouldn't have all three of her sons at the same time. I'm not going to go into too much detail there. This is live on YouTube, and by the way, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not take what I say for serious. Why? Because there's always that one person that's to ruin it for everyone. You told me to do a snow angel in my underwear, and I got frostbite now, and my life is ruined. And it's just like, oh my god, it's just funny, And I can't laugh because not too long ago, I was that person. I was oh a entrepreneur. It's like I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to run my own business. I want to start my own business, but I didn't want to do the work, and I don't want to step outside my comfort zone. And it's great to work for yourself, but 40-hour weeks turn into 80-hour weeks. And but the beauty of it is that it's for yourself, but it's like you gotta stay on your process from the minute you wake up until right before you go to bed. And I'm just thinking, it's like, what have I been watching before I go to bed? And for the longest time, I've been wanting to get off electronics, and it's like here I am catching myself rambling. And you know what? I have visited my mother for Thanksgiving, and one thing I learned, as much I don't know what kind of a childhood you had But one thing that I did learn, I had like a psychological upbringing, I would say. Very rarely physical, a lot of it mental, but just psychological. And I just didn't feel like I fit in where I belonged. I didn't really think people liked me. I thought I was dumb because I had a hard time sitting still. There we are, concentrating. Like my parka that I earned serving in the Air Force. That's another thing too. Is like I got a basement full of different types of clothes. Spring, summer, winter, fall, and this is one of them. And I'm just thinking like, how much space does this really take up? Do I need? But it's like I'm still here and I'm using it, so why not wear it? Well, back what I was saying. Um, our parents loved us. They just didn't know how. And one day we're going to be a parent for our parents. Now, man, today's topic is what you are looking for is already in you. One reason why I was absent last Sunday, is because I dropped my unprotected phone in the water. And I thought it was waterproof, but the back of my phone was cracked. And now looking back, I should have turned it off right away. I should have tried opening it. I don't know if I think just letting it set upright, turning it off right away and let it dry, it could work. But boy, my life flashed right before my eyes. Why? Because my life was in that phone. I allowed my phone to take control of me. And sure, I was using my phone, thank you, Kenny, as a tool, but it got to a point where my phone was using me. Like social media was taking over me. Um, I had all my notes in there. Like I had pages of notes from AZD classes, advanced beast camp lectures, like origins and the chosen were in there. I can't think of another one, but it was one that we had to invest in order to continue beast camps. It's on the tip of my tongue, but and passwords to get into like my Telegram and Gmail account were in there. And I would, every so often I would switch up my username and passwords, or someone tried hacking me. So I normally I don't want to give out too much information here, but all that was in there, and I'm just like, oh my god, I can't even afford a new phone, And the funny thing is, I was with Straight Talk. It's like some cheaper company that you can get through Walmart. Unlocked phone, you just pay full price. Well, I tried retrieving my old number and I couldn't get it. Why? Because when I called customer service, sure, I'd give them all my information. I give them my social, I give them my 4-digit PIN, everything. But they wanted to send me a 6-digit PIN via text message that I could tell them. Well, guess what? I couldn't even view my phone. So I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, how is this gonna work? Why? Because I needed my precious pet. I needed my shiny object. What was that? My original phone number. The number that I had years, ever since I got back from my deployment from Kuwait, that I lost my previous number. That I was just thinking like, oh, I wanted that number, all my contacts, all my friends. What are they gonna think? I got to tell everyone I got a new number. And I find out after Straight Talk, by the way, if your phone is inactive after 6 months, you will lose your number. Well, I wish I would have known that, but guess what? It didn't matter because it was time for an upgrade. It was time for a change. Just like now, what people do I need to take a break from? What like the real ones, the important ones, and this and I was on both sides, I remember early 20s when it seemed like everyone had well shoot, even late teens, like senior year of high school. It seemed like everyone had a plan but me. Everyone knew what to do but me. Everyone was enjoying their life. Most kids were the smart ones, the cool, rich, well, not rich, but just like parents had enough money to put them through school. And I was such a hater. Ooh, I was so bitter. And I had no one to blame but myself because I did not work hard. I did not apply myself to get a scholarship or get good at focus at a sport, what do? I joined the Air Force. And even having that tuition assistance, I still kind of pissed through college because I didn't know how to study. I was too stubborn to ask for help. The classes I was actually interested in and enjoyed the professors that I could actually tell like enjoyed teaching. I did good. And then the ones where like all they would pretty much do is give a test and I'd have to like memorize all these different things and do a multiple choice test. I would mainly fail because I thought it was another thing too. I thought I had a learning disability because I cannot remember all the stuff. I would sit there for hours listening to a professor talk and not remember a single thing that they said. I didn't even write notes. I read over my notes, I type out my notes, still nothing. Where am I going with this? Welcome to the education of your life. Why did I not learn about meditation growing up in school? Why, when a kid was bad, I rarely went to detention. I actually got suspended a couple times. Oh man. I could have gotten suspended even more if I got caught doing certain things, but you'd be surprised. Why during I'm sorry, see, meditation. Why during detention did they even bother like offering to teach the troubled kid who probably like needed some more guidance in their life because either the parents didn't care or they weren't around, or maybe it was most likely a single parent doing the best that they could. And here you have this troubled teen sitting there, hopefully doing homework, but still just thinking about how bad they are or thinking whatever wars are going on in their head. Did the teacher or guidance counselor or principal or whoever bother to think of like maybe I should teach this kid how to meditate? Maybe I should teach them something about deep breathing. Did they even know about that? You got these teachers living a life like most likely not fulfilled in their relationship, making just enough a year to get by, and then eventually reaching a point where they just stop caring. How do I know that? Because I've seen that a lot of that in healthcare, and then even me with certain jobs. But we'll go into that later. Um, where am I going with this? I just feel like I'm going all over the place. Okay, back on track. When I lost my phone, I was unable to access the screen, my contacts. I still am like trying to remember my password from before, from what I have saved on the iCloud. You don't think about doing stuff like that, like when it comes to insuring your phone, even though like the new plan that I got wouldn't. They asked me if I wanted insurance on it, and I asked them, does it cover water damage? And she said no. And it's like, okay, well, why would I want insurance then? Lost or damaged. That way, if you're with like a car insurance company that covers like or like a whole health life insurance, that's the type of like, let's say like you're single with no kids like me who may not need life insurance. However, if you can access it at a certain age, like around retirement, say 55, 65, 75, to me that's worth it. Now with USAA, it's a military insurance. I don't know what kind of insurance company you have. Um, does it cover your home, homeowners insurance? Does it cover your computer, phone? You can put your phone on there. I couldn't access my USAA account, and the nice lady told me that I have to mail them a picture of my photo ID in order to access my account. And I was just thinking, oh, I need this now, Give me my shiny object now. Give me my precious now. Give me my contacts back. Give me my original number. Give me all my pictures. Give me the videos I wanted to upload. Give me the probably thousands of photos and videos I still had. I eventually had to like start deleting things. And like, why do I still have this? Oh, I'm gonna save it later. I'm gonna look at it later. I had like 500 tabs open in my Safari, and then that got so overwhelming. I had to start opening private tabs, and I was like looking back, like, oh my god, like the stuff that I was interested in. Oh, I'll look at that later, and then here it is. And you know what? I needed a reset. So whatever you believe in, God, universe, there's a reason why that happened. And another thing, like when I lose my keys or even my phone, um, and it's somewhere in an obvious place, I start looking at like my room, my car. I'm like, okay, it's time to clean. Pause, breathe, release. And what Kenny says, let go and let grow. And that's when it's time for me to go over gratitude. Thank you for this situation I put myself in, for reminding myself that I am not my phone. I need to be more responsible. I need to write down my username and passwords somewhere that I'm not going to lose or forget, or if something freak accident like this happens. Thank you for reminding me how blessed I am that both of my parents are still in my life. They gave me this precious life. And I gotta go spend some time with my mom now because it's been months since I've seen her, let alone talk to her. And I don't know if you have siblings, if you went through sibling rivalry, it doesn't matter how good. And I go look back and I'm like, oh God, I wish I was a better brother. And I thank God and I thank myself for going back and apologizing to both of my brothers and telling them, hey, when we were younger, it was nothing personal. This is what I was going through. So don't take me neglecting you or being mean to you personal because this is what I was going through. And they didn't have good father figures in their life, a so-called man who wants to settle down and get married and have a child and then sees how much work needs to be done and what they need to give up, whatever bad habit or habits that they're still into. And then they up and leave, and you have this single mother doing the best that she can, working hard at a job that she probably doesn't even like, not fulfilled in her life. And oh man, and shout out to all the single mothers out there. However, why did you choose such a low value man to reproduce with, to settle down with? That's what I asked you there. That one's gonna kind of hit home to some people. It did for me so much to the point where I decided I'm never having kids, and that's okay because I'm working on this inner child in myself, and I'm not teaching, but I'm helping. I believe I'm helping others to live their life and their dream and their passion and connect with that inner child that they had, where they had like these dreams, these goals, these passions, these aspirations. And then at some point in their life, something happened where that went away. And it's like, let's bring that back. I'm 40 and I'm like starting to live my life. And oh man, it's been a process, let me tell you that. But one thing I did learn is that to be patient with myself and work at my own pace. And if I catch myself getting off track, get back on track. And that's why you stay in a tribe. Jacob, AZD, Captain Chris, IMC Nation. And you have brothers checking in, reaching out to you like, hey, what happened to you? Like me, I haven't been able to attend the advanced peace camps. And I know it shows. Like last time I was out in San Jose, I just felt different, and I because I was different, because all the resident IMC Nation members there and the ones that like are that work smart enough where they can invest in the events these camps are showing up, and that's just why it was different for me. And now I know how I feel about the former and current. So they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. Alpha Academy, ACD's 10 a.m. Pacific time lecture. If you'd like to be my guest this Friday, message me. It's free on Fridays right now. Get it while it's hot, because I think of like all the times Captain Chris, back when he was Yoga Bliss Chris, following up with me and me finally like, okay, how hard is it for me to invest $97 a month in me working this job? I just, oh man. And now looking me at me like doing a live video on YouTube, welcome to the 300. Kenny Simmons doing the same thing and almost giving up again because I wasn't able to log in. See, I think the thing with when you get like a new phone, um, your accounts like Zoom, Google. Oh, Kenny just left. This is something I said. No, it happens. You're skeptical when you're on a new device. So they're sending you codes, and we have now I guess like two IMC Nation brothers. Earlier today when it was Transmutation Ministry, Anbu got me on, and today, just recently, Jordan Amari, Master myself. Shout out to you guys, man. Like some of the top IMC Nation members. Jordan Amari is leading his own base in Phoenix. I don't know if it's base 3 or 4 or 5 or what number, but he's leading a base in Phoenix, and it's actually one base I'm thinking about moving to. And I've been talking about this for how many years, but once I'm able to, and I'm the only one that's holding me back is me. But I tell you what, when you have someone very close to you that can no longer take care of themselves, and you're all they got, it's very humbling. So there's a thing right there. We'll go with when things hit the fan, and let me check. You know what? I'm not even gonna have to check Telegram. I know everyone's good. See, that's one thing I get caught in my head. If I don't see anyone coming on, I get self-conscious, or I think like I gotta go back to Telegram and make sure the link is right, or make sure like look in the waiting room, make sure no one's trying to get on. And you know what? Everything is good. Why? Because I said it's good. And I don't know. I'm at one of my favorite spots where I live right now. Something about like rivers and dams and feeling in nature. And can you hear that? It's the sound of running water. The sound keeps anything trying to get on. A feeling in nature. And you know what the thing is? It's like you're then so like so stressed out and you're gonna go for a walk and run out in nature and just the fresh air, the trees, the water. You know what you're doing? You're attuning in nature. And I never realized what I was doing until I came out and did it. And the reason why I just paused and looked is because I thought someone was sitting on a bench. It's crazy too, like at night, like shadows and your mind plays tricks on you. Oh, maybe I did see something, but okay. We're gonna edit that one out. Pause for editing. So yeah, tuning in nature. If I remember, I'm gonna add that to the description. It's just living here. I grew up here my entire life, and I've been all over the world. I've been blessed. Back to high school, thinking everyone had it figured out. And one of the cool kids, and it's funny, looking at someone that was cool in high school, and now looking at them, and it's like, so I wonder, it's like if I would have grown up in a different city or a different area, or I go back, oh my God, when I went to Full Sail University, a few years I lived in Florida, Orlando. Oh my God, the university. Shout out to my brother, my friend John, who was like living just a few miles down where I was going to school. One of the only people I kept in contact from like my childhood, and it's just funny how that works because when you move somewhere and you don't know anyone, but you have one friend that you can count on. They'll show you around. They'll bring you in, let you crash on their food town for a couple months, and you're making some side money, so you can help them with rent, so everyone's happy. You see, F. He was going for his doctorate there, and that school, it's like 60,000 population university, and the girls there, and oh my God, like I was like in my early to mid 30s when I went there, and something about like warmer climates or something. I guess it's like more common for older men to date younger women, which is like here I am in a small town, and it's like most of the people I know are like getting married, having kids, and hopefully happy with their life. Um, but one of those the thought that comes to mind is like if I knew then, if I knew then what I know now, and like what if I went back and lived my life, if I like somehow was able to transfer Air Force bases and was able to go to school full time down there in my early 20s. Oh my God. And do it right. And not be like getting blackout drunk almost every weekend and just running like a chicken with my head cut off and like being afraid to ask for help and not really applying myself, not really thinking I was good enough. But guess what? I can apply that stuff now and live the best years of my life. I was talking with Kenny earlier today in Transmutation Ministry, which is first time live on IMC TV, and we're going to be going live next Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Message me if you're interested. You know, he's 39, I'm 40, and we lived, we lived different lifestyles in our 20s and 30s. I mean, my 20s was a drunken blur. My 30s went so fast, and it's crazy because I did so much, but I was just thinking like it didn't really mean anything. Like, and that's one thing you have to realize is you have to go back and celebrate your wins. And I'm gonna give myself the pat on the back my father never gave me. Oh, good, Tony. Think back about because growing up with a psychological upbringing, and like I'm not blaming my parents for anything. Whoops, Tony popped out. Now what? And here I am, blessed with this life, with this knowledge, with this tech, AZD tech, where guess what? And I know I'm live on YouTube, so I'm gonna be careful what I say, so I'm not dinged. But I was able to quit. I'm just gonna say it, because I'm not sure how else to say it. I was able to quit pharmaceuticals from applying the AZD process. Now, this was years in the making, and I'm gonna go down memory lane here, but back back when I was a child and had a hard time focusing in school and sitting still, and I had a little bit of a temper tantrum. Why? Probably because I don't know how's the school setting where you grew up and where you live, and then growing up mainly with a single parent, and then like your dad getting you every other weekend, and then hearing them argue and fight, and then just like hearing things and sometimes seeing things that a child probably shouldn't hear and see, and then perhaps you're taking on the energy that your parents are taking on, whether that's at work or with each other or whatever negative energy they're taking. And your parent takes you in to get checked out. Oh, okay, he has this. He has ADD or ADHD. And man, one thing I learned from AZD, I don't know if it was the first program I invested in, MWA, Monks with Attitude. It was the first recorded class I invested in him besides Love Spell. I believe it was Love Spell or Love Spell 2.0. But as I was learning for natural ways to overcome my depression and focus, I was taking citalopram for depression and Adderall for focus. Something just didn't feel right. I just, for one, like the citalopram, I just kind of felt like I was a zombie or I wasn't myself. The Adderall, I was fidgety. I was starting to build up a tolerance, and I was just getting really stressed out. You know, I mean, it, it did help me get through school. However, did I really need it? So, and I realized, like, I noticed in my breathing, it was very, my breathing was very shallow. I was actually breathing like through my chest instead of my diaphragm. So I did some research and I come across this gentleman called Wim Hof, and I learned about like cold therapy and deep breathing. Message me if like more info. I mean, you can do your own research, but if you want to know what helped me, I'll gladly share it. And the whole like ADD and ADHD thing, ADD was he first started teaching martial arts. He actually first started, I think, when he was 12, when he got really good at it, and the teacher noticed something in him, and he would have him teach other students. Well, at 21, and man, you think you had it rough, uh, come join me for a class. Well, let's put it that way. When AZD started his own martial arts studio at 21, and it was not easy. And I love hearing his story because it It just tells me to keep showing up. Uh, the teachers at school would label one of their students ADD or ADHD, and ADD would actually write them or talk to them and say, "Why do you label, little Johnny ADD or ADHD?" He actually focuses really well in my class, teaching martial arts, which is not only martial arts of the body but the mind as well. And he's like, "Little Johnny, he pays attention and focuses really well in my class. So why are you labeling him ADD or ADHD?" And oh my God, that, and then changing my attitude about everything. I just felt a change in me during months attitude. And man, we're going on memory lane. I think it's like early 2020s when I first joined. I was on the verge of stopping pharmaceuticals, and one reason is because I wanted to go on unemployment. And I was honest with them. The doctor I was talking with in the military. I told him why I was on it because I was going through some things. Because when you're trying to start your own business, especially with a friend and someone who's like really like high strung up there, who you might like take on, uh, let's just say you take on their energy. That's why I got back into it on the pharmaceuticals anyway. So it was something that I said. I don't know if I was like too depressed or what, but they weren't going to let me get deployed to Kuwait. So, and I only had like a limited amount of time to be able to do this, get out the pharmaceuticals and get my mind right and go. And I pretty much like begged my psychiatrist, who just so happened to be like a new doctor, like an attractive young redhead, that let's just say it was kind of awkward. I think it was a little difficult for both of us. And thankfully she got transferred. I don't know. I just wonder if like, doctors and patients, if you have an attractive patient, you know, are you really thinking about that, or what if the patient's cool about it? Anyways, I was able to sweet talk her to let me get off in the pharmaceuticals, and that's while I was watching AZD's 4 videos, monks with attitude. So you have someone who is in solitary confinement, like a prisoner, or you have a monk that, like, I don't know if you ever saw how a monk lives, but they're sleeping on the floor. They have like plain food, plain clothes, and probably not much different than a prisoner in prison. You can have one of two things. You can be like, oh, this uncomfortable bed. I'm around all these dudes. This combined space, uncomfortable environment. Low value food. If you change your attitude about your living environment, like instead of fighting it, you choose. So the monk would say, I choose this uncomfortable bed. I choose this plain food. I choose a simple environment. Same with a prisoner. And oh my God, so many Stoics out there. I wish I could think of the name, but one thing that really resonated with me, especially this last year, and I'm bringing it into 2024, it doesn't matter what happens. It's how you react to it that matters. And I'm going to remember to post that quote in the description. Man, AZD says Stoicism saved his life. Well, IMC Nation saved my life, because if it wasn't for IMC Nation, I would not have known about this. I would not have known to listen to Stoic quotes every day. And until I get like that aha moment, okay, I'm done. I want them taking meditation seriously. I want them really knowing how to tune in nature. Like, I like going for walks, but I didn't know about grounding. I know about barefoot. I didn't know about actually connecting with the earth. I didn't know about cosmic disclosure on Gaia. That's another app I need to download. Because you think about it, it's like when you get home from your job, what do you do? What do you eat? What do you watch? For the longest time, I would do things just to distract myself. I would watch stupid stuff on YouTube. I used to watch TV shows, movies, and it's a good movie every now and then. That one that really like makes you think or expands your mind. Go for it. I used to drink. Oh my God, I get blackout drunk sometimes on the weekends. I'll never forget like one of the many times. And one thing I love about my dad is like I have my own living space here at his house. One reason why I have to stick around is to be here for him as much as I want to get a caregiver. That's another thing too. Communicate. Say say what you need to say to your parents before it's too late. That's all I can say. I would come and go here for the last 20 years, probably 21 years, ever since my mom kicked me out of the house at 18. And then one reason is because my stepdad was there. He was getting in her mind. And I was running the Air Force and everything, but I really wasn't doing much with my life. I wasn't working. She kicked me out for the first time. My dad took me in and let me stay on his couch and gave me a job, although I didn't like it, a dirty job, drywalling. Yeah, I stayed. I felt like I was just stuck, but it just felt so good to know that I had a place I could come and go and keep my stuff at. And some of you have been homeless. Like, I only was homeless for a week because I chose to. Like, I slept in my car because I didn't want to make the 3 hour commute to work. So I stayed in my car for a week. And then my friend, God bless him, took me in and actually let me stay in their unfinished basement that I helped clean. And that was another, man. You think of the people that took you in when you're at your lowest point in your life, and then when you make it, like when you have money that you can just send to them, or like so say something happens, but they can count on you. Man, I'm remembering everyone that was there for me. And those of you who took advantage of me, keep watching. All right, where was I going with that? All right, back to my topic here. What you are looking for is already in you. So how did I know when I dropped my phone in water and was unable to access my contacts, unable to go live, unable to even reach out to Anbu, make sure I'm still on here, and tell him like because I'm on my last strike. If I don't show up and do what I'm supposed to on a live stream on IMC TV, I'm done. There's no third chance. And he made that very clear, which it should be. Um, how did I know what I was looking for was already in me? Because when I dropped my phone in water and I was unable to access my contacts or my passwords or anything, feeling lost, I went over gratitude. I had gratitude in me. I had joy in me. Like, thank you for this. I don't want to say miracle, but this an opportunity situation I put myself in where I need to pause, breathe, and release. I need to slow down. I need to start taking care of my things. I need to get more organized. I need to clean. I need to cut some people off of my life. Because how many people, and back to my late teens, early 20s, where it seemed like all my friends had it figured out but me. I noticed some of those friends stopped reaching out to me, stopped talking to me. And, most of them were nice about it, like, oh, sorry, I've been busy, blah, 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 but still. And it's like, how do you politely tell someone, like, hey, not, nothing against you, but I'm currently going through this, or I'm leveling up. You're either you can either join me or have a nice life. And some of my friends, I thought some of them. It's funny you're outside so long and your face starts to freeze. It's hard to talk. I thought some of my friends were better than me, or they thought that they were better than me. And here the reality is, they were just living their life. I was the bitter one. You know, lately I've been learning a lot about getting better, not bitter. I was the bitter one, still stuck in my hometown, working a job and I like not liking where I lived, getting blackout drunk almost every weekend, and then wanting to change, wanting to move, but not doing anything about it. And here I am now, living my life. I'll never forget one of my friends thought that I thought I was better than him, and I told him, no, here's you and here's me. And I pretty much put my left hand and my right hand up at the same level. You're here living your life, I'll support you as long as you're not hurting anyone or yourself. I'm over here living my life. I'm gonna do it whether you support me or not. Done. And it's a hard pill to swallow, especially when you see your friends like doing something that like you always wanted to do and then you not doing it. Like imagine take like someone in the music scene, for example, and wanting only getting so far and doing it for like 20 years and only getting so far and then seeing someone who's only been doing it for a couple of years now and getting further than them. That'd be a hard pill to swallow. How do I know that? Because I've been there. And I see my friends who I thought had it all figured out, working a job, living their life, posting pictures of themselves, on the beach and buying these fancy things. And I'm thinking now, it's like, how many of them are really happy with their life? How many of them are posing? How many of them are compensating? How many of them who thought that they getting married and settling down and having kids was the right thing to do are just absolutely miserable? And and you know how I know that? Because I was actually I knew I would have been one of those guys. And that's one reason why I never got married and had kids. And shout out to all you men and ladies, holler if you hear me, who didn't let society, family, relatives, so-called friends get to you and make you brainwash you and make you think that you needed to live a life. Like in order to in order to be happy, you had to live a life on their terms. Shout out to you. I'm gonna end this here. I'm looking at some Christmas lights. I'm gonna share this beautiful scene right now. See, it's just things like this makes you appreciate it. I don't know if you could hear on Transmutation Ministry when I was in a McDonald's. They're playing Christmas music. It's like after Thanksgiving. I think it's like the day of or the day after Thanksgiving. They play Christmas music, and you know what? You can't beat them. Join them. So the first today, actually, when I actually listened to a Christmas song, I think it was "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" because Joel Osteen's Lakeview Church was live. I was just thinking like I get so miserable during Christmas time, mainly because I don't like the cold and winter. But I forgot what Christmas is all about. And you see people running Xmas. Why are they Xing out Christ? So I don't want to get too religious here on you. I'm gonna call it spiritual just to save myself, but Christmas time is the time to remind myself that Christ died for my sins. He sacrificed everything so I could have this life. And I'm starting to feel it now. It's just like ACD with IMC Nation wanting us, wanting me to be one of the 300. I was going through some dark times not too long ago where he pretty much had me open up my Bible and start reading his word. And I had to remind myself, this is something you have to remind yourself every day, why you're here, what your purpose is, why you keep showing up. And I just thank God, Jager of AZD, Captain Chris, IMC Nation, for giving me this opportunity where I can go live once a week and spread my message, my word. Who would have thought? I'm still learning. And even though that not too many people will be watching this, so there's no one on live right now, I'm on right now, and I'm doing this for myself. And I thank myself, my future self, for doing this. And as hard as it's going to be, I can watch this video and look back and be like, you know what? You could have done better there, but guess what? You showed up and you're going to keep showing up. And here you are. So, my message to you today is what you are looking for is already in you. And do that thing that you always wanted to do. Your future self will thank you. Show up for yourself, show up for others, keep showing up.